It is time to talk Carolina Panthers football on the Our Lads Football Network. The draft is over, and now it's time to talk about how the draft went, really, the offseason for all the teams in the NFL here on the Our Lads Football Network as we talk Carolina Panthers football with Rashad Beard of Panther Nation podcast on YouTube. And Rashad, good to have you back again.
Absolutely. Always a pleasure joining you to talk Carolina Panthers football or football in general, man. Let's make this thing happen. Hopefully Panther Nation has a little juice now that the draft is over with. I know last time I came on the show was we
Little
were a
down.
little, yeah, we were a little down. I didn't know where we were going, but this offseason has done well for the Panthers, so I'm happy. I'm in a good space right now.
Okay, cool. All right, so we want to let everybody know, here's the Our Lads 2022 draft guide. Now, if you want to know how you get your hands on one of these for free, this is a $32 value. What we're going to do on this show is we are going to ask you a simple question, and we're also going to ask you to subscribe to our channel. So, two-step process. Subscribe to our channel here, Prime Sports Network. It's real simple. And after you receive the guide, you can unsubscribe, if you really don't want to subscribe. Hopefully, you'll want to stay with us. But anyway, what we want from you is most importantly is to answer a question as well, which is going to be your feelings on Coach Matt Rule. Do you believe Matt Rule is the coach that can lead the Carolina Panthers to success, or would you rather fire Matt Rule on the spot? So just give us your opinion on Matt Rule, subscribe to the channel, and then we will pick out randomly one, maybe more than one, lucky fan that will receive this draft guide from us. And we'll do this again with the draft review guide coming up in a couple of months. We'll hopefully talk again before the season begins, Rashad. But anyway, I wanted to kick off the show by giving that away, and then hopefully you'll get an opportunity to give a couple of draft guides away as well to your own fans on your own channel. But I want to start off with not Matt Rule, but what I want to start off with, because I think this is the question everybody outside of Carolina wants to know. Now, yes. Matt Corral was chosen in the third round. Some people believe that could mean, all right, that's it. It's Matt Corral. You got Sam Darnold. This is going to be your quarterback room, and you're just going to go for it. Or is there still any chance at all that the Carolina Panthers will be interested in trading for Baker Mayfield?
I think the Baker Mayfield talk is over. I don't think it's going to be Baker Mayfield per se. Let me put it this way. There's always a chance, right? But I think it's a very, very slim chance it's going to be Baker Mayfield. Now, do we add to the room? I do think we could add another quarterback to the room, maybe a Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm hearing that they're a little low on Trey Lance, so they're trying to keep Garoppolo around. So if he happens to get cut or whatever happens to his contract, I think we would probably bring him in over Baker Mayfield. I just don't think Baker Mayfield is a good fit here. I just don't know that, obviously Robbie Anderson he feels the same way. So I don't think that he is the right fit for
Why
what
is
we're
that?
trying to do.
Is that a scheme fit or a personality?
No,
fit?
I think it's a personality thing. I just don't know that. I don't know that Baker is the guy. I mean, and my co-host, he's shout out to Dave, but he is very against this as well because he doesn't think that Baker Mayfield can beat out Sam Darnold. I mean, and it's a legit question. If you think about it, it's a legit question. If you sit down and analyze it, look at what Baker Mayfield had on that
Sure.
roster. He had one of the best offensive
Right.
lines in the game. He had two of the best receivers in the game. He had a really, really good running game. But what else do you need from an offensive perspective to be successful,
Good
right?
point.
So if you couldn't do it with that, what makes you think you're going to come to Carolina and do it with far less?
Sure.
I'm not going to say far less, but lesser talent,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, the
What
only
makes you
thing
think
you're
you can
hoping
get it done?
for is that just when you're making a trade like that on a team that is not as good as the team where the quarterback was before, is you're hoping for just and it's a hope. It's just it's just
Right.
a guess. It's like maybe it's
Well,
just a change of scenery. It's a different scheme, and something clicks. He was just embarrassed. He's got his life back straight, and now he's a different guy. But that's just still that's a guess. That's a guessing game.
yeah, and we've guessed twice, right? We've guessed with Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah, that's right.
We've guessed with Sam Darnold.
Yeah,
I'm done guessing.
you're right.
Let's get, especially for trading for him, right? It's one thing to pick him up when he gets released or if he gets released, but trading for him is off the table. There's
Okay.
just no way we should trade for another quarterback. We've done it twice. I'm dead set against trading for another quarterback.
And most
We've
fans
done
are
it.
as well.
Yeah, we're done. Yeah, I think
Okay.
the fan base is done with trading for another quarterback. Now, if
Okay.
you get one in free agency, sure, but trading for one, especially after you drafted one, we're good. Now, is Matt Corral ready day one? Absolutely not. He's going to take some time. He needs some time to adjust to the NFL game. I love the fact that we got him in the third round. It takes that first
Yes.
round pressure off of you.
Yeah.
So I like where we got him. And again, at 6, it completely changes the conversation, right? You take Matt Corral at 6, the expectations are completely different. You take him in the third round, I'm all for it. The pressure's off. I think Sam Darnold's going to go into the season as a starter if we don't bring anybody else in. And I think that's the right move. You got to be patient with him and bring Matt Corral along slowly and turn the reins over when it's time.
How about Nick Foles?
I think Nick Foles would be a great option. I think that's a fantastic option. Again, he's released, right? He's a
Yeah.
free agent.
He's
I
available.
would love I would love to bring in Nick Foles, veteran presence. He's been to the promised land, took a team that was, it dealt with injuries, took him to the Super Bowl. Again, he down years with the Bears, but I would love to have Nick Foles versus the other options.
I
Get
agree.
over Baker Mayfield, over Jimmy Garoppolo, especially if you're trading for those guys. Give me Nick Foles all day. I take that all day, every day.
Yeah, and really, if you think about it, and I can see why your mood is different, because here's the option: is would you rather have used the 6, because Matt Corral was never going to be picked at 6, so
No.
would you rather have Kenny Pickett at 6? That would have been a possibility. Most people were thinking that could have happened. So would it be Pickett, and then you wind up with who else in the third round, whatever, or which what actually ended up happening? You wind up getting Matt Corral in the third round. And I don't think anybody thought that was going to be possible. So I think that is just an awesome draft, just for those two situations alone, for the Panthers to be able to pick maybe the best offensive lineman in the draft at 6, and then without a second round pick, without all of that draft capital that everybody was complaining about. You don't have capital. You're not going to be able to get one of these quarterbacks. And then to just sit there in the third round and basically get Matt Corral, that had to be awesome.
Yeah, no, it was fantastic. Again, getting Icky at 6 was awesome. I think he fits exactly what we're trying to do. You want to be a run first team. You want to line it up and just win in the trenches. And we haven't drafted an offensive lineman in the first round since Jeff Otai back in 2008.
Yeah, that's
ridiculous. So now it is ridiculous,
Yeah.
right? And so now we get Icky. Got a good head on his shoulders, man, and I love him. He's from Charlotte. I think he's going to do great here, and I think the scheme, if we're going to turn around, run the football, limit Sam Darnold's decision-making process, and just turn around, hand the football off, and just don't think. I think we're going to be good to go, and I love it. Run it 40 times a game and dare somebody to beat you in the trenches. Let's do it.
Okay, so what happens now to Brady Christensen? Because when we talked before, we were saying, you had mentioned that, look, if they don't use that pick early on a tackle, that it's very possible Christensen ends up to the left tackle when the season begins. So that now looks like that's off the board, I guess, because Icky can play guard as well. So what do you think? Does Brady Christensen now does he just go to camp and he's going to compete for the job, and then maybe Icky does move inside the guard, or is Icky definitely the left tackle and Christensen will either be the backup, or I don't know, does he play another position?
This is one of the hottest topics in Panther Nation right now. Is who is going to play left tackle. So this is a big one. And I feel like it's a great problem to have.
Absolutely.
Right? When you have going from 0 options to now 2 options at left tackle.
Yeah.
Everybody should be happy in Panther Nation right now. So I don't care. It doesn't matter to me who's playing left tackle. Just get the best guy there. Put the best guy there. I think the plan for the coaching staff is going to have them battle it out.
Okay.
Icky versus Brady Christensen. Whoever may the best man win. And I think that Icky's going to be a better left tackle and a better guard than Christensen.
Sure.
Christensen is a better left tackle than he is guard.
Correct.
So this is a situation where I think Christensen may get a little lost in the sauce, and he may end up becoming a backup left tackle, which is not a problem.
No.
He's a 3rd round pick.
Players
so
get hurt.
If he's a backup, okay, so be it. It's all good. And I think there are some people that are upset about that because he didn't get a fair shot to play left tackle last year. And I feel like that's a valid argument, right? If he would have played I think the 4 games he started at left tackle, he played extremely well. And if he would have had the opportunity to play the entire season at left tackle, we may have looked at the left tackle position a little different going into the draft. And so that's why people are a little upset. But at the end of the day, even if that's the case, you always take the best player available.
Oh,
And that's
yeah.
what we did in this draft. We went BPA, and now you figure it out. It's on the coaching to figure it out. Put the best guy put the better guy at left tackle and roll with it. People are forgetting at guard. People are forgetting that we have Deontay Brown on the roster, who essentially took a redshirt year. This guy was a great guard at Alabama. He could potentially play left guard. Now, I dare you to penetrate the left side of Icky and Deontay Brown. That is a formidable left side. So it's a great problem. Listen, I'm excited. This is one of the best situations our offensive line has been in. I don't care who's playing. As long as you got the best guy there, I'm happy with it. It's a good problem to have.
Okay, so and it would it surprise you if they go to camp and Christensen plays well enough where the staff believes that, you know what, he's playing good, solid left tackle football, and we feel he's a better player at this point than Brown. So we're going to start the season with Christensen at left tackle and Ickey at left guard. Would that be a complete shock?
No, it wouldn't be, because that's exactly what I said would happen draft night. I've since then backed down from that because I think Ickey's a better left tackle. But it would not surprise me because you're putting
the best players on the field.
Exactly. And so Icky, if you told me Icky was going to be the next Quentin Nelson at guard, sign
Sure.
me up,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
Sign me up. So I don't have a problem with it. You're getting the best players on the field, and if Brady Christensen is a great left tackle, sign me up. If Icky's going to be the next Quentin Nelson, sign me up. It's a great problem to have. I have no problem with it at all.
Okay, perfect. Now, let's talk about Corral and what have you heard so far from the press conferences, from just his comments, the coaching staff's comments, anything that you've seen at this point related to how he fits with the franchise and what you think about his skill set and the offense and why they drafted him, and maybe a realistic projection of when we might see him on the field.
Yeah, I think if you go back and you rewind to Ben McAdoo's press conference, and he talked about the offense and what it looks like and what he's looking for in a quarterback. And I think what they liked about Matt Corral is the decision making, right? In that RPO system at Ole Miss, right? You get rid of the football quick. You make the decision. You're decisive in that decision. I think that's what they like about Matt Corral. He's got a good enough arm, right? He didn't have the biggest arm in the class.
Oh.
I think that was left to Malik, but I think he has a good enough arm, and he's good enough. His accuracy is good enough with the deep ball as well. And so I think they like him, and I don't think they look at him as a guy that's going to take over games, but a guy that's not going to mess it up.
Okay.
Right. And I think that's what they want. And I think that's what this coaching staff has been looking for. You look at the guys they brought in, Teddy Bridgewater, Sam Darnold. They're not looking for a franchise Patrick Mahomes style quarterback. That's not what they want. They're looking for a guy that can just not F it up. Okay. And I think that's what they want. That's what they're looking for in Matt Corral. Turn around, hand the football off to Christian McCaffrey, dump it off to Christian McCaffrey, dump it to turn it around, hand it off to Deontay Foreman. Don't make the mistakes, right? And that's what Sam Darnold has done, right? Throughout his career, he's made the mistakes. That's why we're here with Matt Corral. And I feel like if Sam Darnold is not good enough, just going to the projection, right? I think Matt Corral could see the football field. I would say, depending on how the season is going, maybe after halfway through the season, weeks 10,
would that
something
be
like
after?
that.
Would that be after Walker?
I think
if Darnold,
yes.
Okay, so even if Darnold screws up in the first month, they wouldn't go to Corral right away. They probably play Walker for a little bit.
They would go to Walker first because that's what they've done, right? We've done that. I think Walker has played well when he's had the opportunity, but I don't think he's the guy they want to start. I think Matt Corral is going to be given a lot of time. I think that's what Panther Nation has to realize. We have to pump the brakes.
Yeah.
He is not going to be the day one starter.
No.
He is not going to start, I believe, at any point in the season, personally. I think it's going to be next year where they really give him a full season, give him another full offseason to say, hey, Matt, are you ready? Because at that point, Sam Darnold will be gone. His contract would expire. And now let's turn the reins over to Matt Corral. Let's do it the right way. We don't have to force him out there week one and ruin his confidence. It just doesn't make sense. Let's take the patient approach. I think he's good talent. Let's just be patient with it and see what happens.
Okay. Odds on the Panthers signing another quarterback before the season begins.
I think it's pretty high, man. I don't know. I'm not I don't know the 20-1. I don't know how that works, but I think it's pretty high.
Percentages then.
I think it's okay. Percentage. I'll give you a percentage. I'll say there's probably a 60% chance.
Okay. Slightly above average. Okay.
Slightly above average that it's going to happen. I think they're going to bring another guy.
Okay.
I think they are. Which goes back to Matt Corral and him not starting, right?
Absolutely.
Or not playing.
Yes.
I don't
if
think
you bring
they
someone
want
else
to play
in,
him.
he's definitely not starting.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You got to give him time, and this is the right way to do it. This is the right approach. There's two approaches. You can get a guy out there week one, let him struggle, and let him get through it. You can kind of ruin a guy's confidence that way, or you can let him sit the whole year.
Sure.
I like the sit approach. Let him sit, man. Let him get the experience. Throw him out there preseason. Maybe throw him out there in a couple garbage time situations. Let him get some experience, and then when the time is right, you hand the reins and let him go from that point.
Yeah, because Sam Darnold could have used some of that.
Exactly.
Patience, but
you can ruin a guy that way, man.
And there's no question. Sam Darnold, it's all about here with Sam Darnold. So
yeah, he's done here. I hope he's done here, man. I'm tired of dealing with the off and on. We have a guy now in Matt Corral, and I know it's going to take some time, but after this year, we can be done with experiments and hopefully stick with Matt Corral for the next 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, Darnold might be like a Nick Foles. He might be a guy that needs to be in the league for like 10 years because he's got all the gifts. He just needs to grow up and get rid of that confidence issue. And maybe he goes somewhere 6 years down the road, somebody gets hurt, he comes in with no pressure, does a good job on a good team, and he's got the rest of his career, but he's got a long way off.
Yeah, because you can see it. You can see moments, right? He has moments where you're like, man, this guy is okay. But then, man, I think he just needs the situation to be perfect.
Yes,
right? He needs
one thing goes wrong, it's over. It's an avalanche of mistakes after that.
Exactly. I think once Christian McCaffrey went down last year, because the first 3 games we were like, okay, this guy's pretty good. Okay, what were they talking about? The Jets don't know what they're talking about. We got a good guy here. Yeah. And then Christian McCaffrey goes down, and that was it. It was over. So maybe if Christian McCaffrey can stay healthy the entire way, maybe he's okay. I don't know. That's the problem. We just don't know. Yeah. And I think that's why they drafted insurance in Matt Corral.
And they did the right job. They made the right decision.
I think so too.
So as far as there wasn't a whole lot left. There's still 4 more picks, and we'll start. Matter of fact, there was one more player on offense. We'll just start there. That was the 6th round pick, the guard Cade Mays, a 4-year starter. Spent 2 years at Georgia. And this is a guy that played mostly right tackle in college, but our lads believes he's more than likely going to be a guard at the next level and could be a versatile backup in the NFL. Is that what the Panthers pretty much, you believe, have in Cade Mays?
1,000%. And I love it. I think you have a versatile guy that can play tackle. He can play guard. Most likely, like you said, projects as a guard in the NFL. And listen, not only did we need starting offensive linemen, we need a depth.
Yes.
So this was a perfect depth pick. I think he's great. He's gonna fill that role. If somebody goes down, I'll feel comfortable sticking Cade Mays in there at 6'6", 325. I mean, that's some weight you got to move. That's a big body you got to move. So I love this pickup. I picked him up in several mock drafts. In the offseason, in the maybe 4th, 5th round, he kept falling. He fell to the 6th round in real life. And so I love this pick. I think it's great. Again, we need depth guys as well. You look at guys like Michael Jordan that we have on our roster. You look at guys like Cam Irving. We got to get those Pat Eflin. We need to get those guys out of here and actually develop some guys. Again, this is another development piece that could be a starting level caliber player. If he sits a year or so, maybe you can put him in a guard moving forward. But I love it. I love this pick, especially where you got him. I love
Yep.
it.
And there you go. So now you have Mays and Brown. So you're starting to, and even maybe Christensen could. So you're starting to get
Yep.
some younger developmental type of long-term offensive linemen. Okay. The rest of the picks were all on defense, starting in the fourth round with Brandon Smith from Penn State. And there's a lot to like about Brandon Smith. He's got the ability to be like a 3-down linebacker at the next level. Matter of fact, I'm going to read a few things here from our lads. Outstanding physical specimen who has the size and athleticism of an elite NFL linebacker. High upside and versatility. He can blitz. He's a big linebacker with unique speed and agility to mirror backs out of the backfield and cover big slot receivers and tight ends. There's a lot of nice things to say about Brandon Smith, and get him in the fourth round is a good spot.
Yeah, and this is one of my favorite picks of the draft. I'm gonna be honest with you. I love Brandon Smith. He's another guy that I mocked a lot during the offseason. And I think he fell, I think he's one of those guys that falls in that tweener category because people may not necessarily know where to use him. He's a bit light, a bit lighter than I'd like to play like middle linebacker every down. We needed a middle linebacker, and I think that's where I want him to play. He has the athleticism to play. He has that sideline to sideline athleticism. He's got to bulk up, and I think right now, when you look at him, he's going to probably play special teams a lot in the beginning. And I think is going to have time to develop into a very, very good linebacker. You can put him on a boundary as well.
Oh yes,
I think
he's versatile. Yes,
he's versatile. He can play everywhere. But we need a middle linebacker, and I'm hoping that he can play middle linebacker in the future. But again, this is a developmental piece. When the whole mantra around this draft for the Carolina Panthers is that this is a draft and develop draft, right? You've got these guys that have all these athletic specimens, right? All the characteristics, the 40 times. All these guys are great athletically, but can you turn them into to great football
that's
players?
coaching.
They have to develop exactly. So they have to develop into players. Can you develop them? We don't know of any guys that we've developed right now. I haven't seen this coaching staff develop anybody. Maybe I will give them Jeremy Chin, who was a very good player. I'll give them that coming from a small school. But outside of that, we haven't seen this coaching staff develop anybody yet into a great player. And so I have some concerns about that. I think this draft, and you talk about the rest of these defensive guys, I think these guys have a lot of raw talent, but you have to get it out of them. And I don't know if the coaching staff is capable of doing that. This coaching staff this draft can be very, very good, or it can be really bad, depending on how these guys develop.
Now, the linebacker position is, you talk about the veterans that were signed. I mean, Damian Wilson and Corey Littleton. I mean, those are holdover guys.
Yeah.
So I would have to think that a guy like Brandon Smith, if he comes in and shows that he can pick up the defense and he's a player, then I think he's gonna get playing time. I really do, especially with his versatility. Now, again, I'm not saying he's gonna get starting caliber, tons of snaps as a rookie, but when I look at that linebacker room, I see Shaq Thompson. That's what I see.
That's it.
And so Brandon Smith has an opportunity to steal snaps this season.
He does. And if you look even further with the Damian Wilson situation, he has some legal situations going on.
Oh, okay.
And so I don't even know that he's going to. I think he's got a domestic violence issue
that
happened back in. It's not. So when you look at the room, it gets even. The opportunity is even more available to Brandon Smith in that we don't know what's going to happen with Damian Wilson, right? And so I love for him to. This is very similar to Matt Corral, right? We got Corral, who's great on paper. Can he get out there? Is he going to develop quick enough? Because the opportunity's there, right? Or is he going to take the reins?
Yes.
So I'm just nervous that if we throw him out there too early, it could be, it could be a situation where he's damaged. But again, the raw talent is there, the athleticism there, all the tools are there for Brandon Smith. He's got to bulk up a little bit, especially if you're going to play inside. Playing inside, you got to be, you got to have some weight to you to kind of play in the trenches. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I'm excited about it. Athletically, he's gifted.
Yeah, because that is the biggest concern, like you were saying, because let's say there is something where Damian Wilson isn't going to be available, who is going to play inside?
Yeah.
And I don't think that is really where Brandon Smith should be playing, to tell you the truth. So,
Yeah.
and I think you agree with me. So, do
Yep.
they still go out there? I don't know I don't know who's out there in free agency. If there's anybody still that you can pick up at this point in time and throw into that spot, but that would be a big concern.
Yeah, I like Alexander Johnson from
Denver.
Denver.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he'd be a guy. He's available out in the market. I don't think he's re-signed with anyone yet, but he'd be a guy that I'd like to plug in the middle. I think he had like a torn pec issue that he played 6 weeks last year, but he's a guy I'm looking. We have the most cap space in the league right now, so he's a guy that I'd be willing to go out there and take a flyer on, plug him in the middle, at least for the short term, see how he turns out, and then again, developing Brandon Smith to allow him to bulk up and maybe potentially play in the future. But right now, he's not ready to play middle.
Okay. Also in the 6th round on defense came edge rusher Amari Barno, and this is a bargain. So our lads had Barno as a 3rd round prospect, and that's not surprising considering what kind of a great combine he had.
Oh yeah,
elite edge rush speed, and our lads. I guess the best thing they said about Barno: top shelf long strider and leaper, should promote the high ceiling outlook as a pure outside rusher. So we talked about this in the draft preview, that they were going to be looking for some more depth. This is what you have to do when you have a 4-man line. You need more edge rushers, and so to get Barno in the 6th round, they had to be pretty stoked about that.
Yeah. Barno's a guy I like as well. It's almost like the Panthers looked at the combine and said, "Hey, give me all the athletic guys. Give me everybody that runs fast. Give them to me." We got 2 of the top guys. Barno, he ran a 4.3 at 6'6", which is ridiculous, right? That's unheard of. And so again, I think we lost Hassan Reddick, and so we did need somebody to come out here and help in that rotation. You know what I'm saying? So we got Frankie Louisville, a couple other guys, Marquise Haynes, Yetur Gross-Matos, who I love. These are all guys that are solid contributors, but we don't have a guy. Like, there's not a guy that's like.
Besides Brian Burns.
Brian Burns, yeah, but excuse me. Besides him, across from him, that's what I meant to say.
Yes.
There's nobody across from him that is a Hassan Reddick caliber player.
Yep.
And so they're taking a flyer on Barno, who I love, in the 6th round.
That's awesome.
I think he's a bit raw, another raw prospect, very similar in Brandon Smith. I think he's got to get more to his game than just speed, right? Because speed, it's great, but you're not going to be able to outrun everybody in NFL. It's NFL, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's not. This isn't college, and I don't think even given with that speed, he didn't dominate with that speed like he should have at the college level. So let's not pretend like let's not act like this guy is just some, he's some dominant player, because he's not.
If he was, he would have been drafted in in day 2.
He would have been drafted in the first. Exactly. So he fell to the 6 for a reason, right? And we have to take that into account. And again, I love the raw attributes: 6'6", 245, outside rusher. Put on some weight, give him some time, develop some of those skills. I think it'll be great in maybe year 2, year 3. But year 1, I'm not expecting this guy to come out here and be a baller. I think we got some guys, like I said, Marquise Haynes, who fill that role in the short term.
Much better situation at that spot than at the linebacker spot.
Exactly.
And then talking about speed, the last guy, Kalon Barnes from Baylor, who ran the 2nd fastest 40 times since 2013 combine at 4.23. So he obviously has got the incredible recovery speed, but he sometimes tends to rely too much on the speed. Not enough technique in his game. So, but you got him in the 7th round. So just like you've been saying, here you go, another developmental prospect with speed, not just speed, but blazing speed. So not a guy that is going to make plays in year 1, but keep an eye on him down the road. And this is why, again, as you said, it's up to the coaching staff to get the most out of him.
Yeah, and this pick is not surprising at all with the Baylor connection to Matt Rule. We always get at least one, so I'm not surprised in that. And look, Kalon Barnes with the Ford 2 whatever he ran,
4.23.
It's ridiculous, right? So you got in the 7th round, you drafted traits, and why not? The cornerback room is actually pretty solid for the Carolina Panthers, so it's going to be a struggle to make an impact there. But again, like you said, he relies on that speed a lot. In the 7th round, you're going to have some flaws to your game. So But I love it. I love the drafting on traits at this point, and again, develop them and see what happens.
Okay, now there were, as usual, a bunch of players that were signed, and after the draft, rookies. Matter of fact, the Panthers signed 5 wide receivers. The only one that really sticks out though was Charleston Rambo,
Rambo,
the
yeah.
former Sooner who came to Miami, and basically by doing that, he was able to get more playing time with the Hurricanes. But if you look at him, you can see why he wasn't drafted. He doesn't have top flight speed. He's not that big. He did have a 6th-round grade, but overall, he is a quality route runner. He's a competitive guy, so he has those traits that you like. If you can develop him, he would fit nicely in the back end of your wide receiver room, hopefully for years to come. Somebody that you can count on, maybe. So again, maybe not a bad idea to pick up a guy like, or sign a guy like this. He definitely sticks out of the other 4 receivers that they signed.
Yeah. I like Rambo. Again, his Miami tape is pretty solid. And listen, the wide receiver room is tough. That's a tough room to get into. I don't think he's gonna make the roster by any means. I think he'll probably be
Practice squad.
practice squad style guy. Yeah. So I think it's interesting. A couple other guys that I like that we signed from undrafted free agency is Aaron Mosby out of Fresno State, linebacker, middle linebacker prospect. So I like him a lot. And I also like Marquand McCall out of Kentucky.
Yep.
Big guy. So, and we need some help on the interior. We need a nose tackle. Somebody's gonna hog up and clog up those run lanes. So I like that pick as well.
342.
Yeah, big guy, man. He's a big guy. So I like that pickup as well. Again, I'm not saying that any of those guys are gonna make the roster, but they have an opportunity, right?
Look, there's always going to be one guy that gets signed that makes your roster. It happens. It happens every year. So if you had to guess one guy, who would you say?
I'd probably go with the Mosby kid, the linebacker.
You like him, huh?
I do. Not only that, I like him because it's a position of need, right? There's gaps there, and so I think he has the best opportunity to make the roster. I'm not saying he's the best player of the bunch, but I think he has the best opportunity to go out there and steal a spot, just because the linebacker room is so. And Kalen Tolston as well. Both of those, they're both linebackers.
Okay.
I think both of those guys have the opportunity to go out there and steal a spot.
All right, we'll keep it. I'll hold you to that when we talk before the season begins.
Right. Don't promise. Don't. I won't make any promises, but I think again, like I said, out of the guys, I think they have the best opportunity to make a splash.
Okay, so between now and the time that we talk again, unless there's a big story, who knows? Nick Foles gets signed or something like that. But if we may not talk again until our season preview, sometime maybe August or whatever. We talked about middle linebacker. You mentioned a player which makes a lot of sense to me, Anthony Johnson. Is there anything else that you think with that cap space that you could see the Panthers doing to improve their roster? And if so, are there any specific players out there that they might be targeting?
Yeah, I don't know of any players per se, but I mean, there's a couple of names that I would target. Again, I don't know what they're going to do with the quarterback position. I think when we freed up all that money, that was for Deshaun Watson, in my opinion. We freed up right at that time. Yeah, right at that time, we were freeing up cap space, restructuring, and I believe it was to get Deshaun. And now we're sitting here with the cap space. You can roll over some of that to next year, which is cool. But I think you got to improve your roster, and I think it has to be on the defensive side of football. I think we've got the biggest question marks on that side to me. So when you look at the interior of our defensive line, I know we got Matt Ioannidis, who was a rotational guy with the Commanders. I don't know that he's going to be an every down. I don't know how he's going to perform on an every down level. So I'm looking to kind of maybe bring in like a guy like Akeem Hicks. If we can get him, I think that would be a nice
pickup.
It'd be a great pickup to kind of add to that interior of the defensive line.
I like that.
We talked about Anthony Johnson. Excuse me, Alexander Johnson from the Broncos. Love that. I think that could be a steal from the interior for interior linebacker. But I think the biggest name that I don't think anybody's talking about who has a tie to the Carolinas is Jadeveon Clowney. Why not? I know that the rumors are that he may re-sign with the Browns, but we don't have a guy like we just talked about opposite of Brian Burns. He's out there. He's gonna follow the money, right? and I feel like why not bring him in? He's a very good run stopper. I think he's a decent enough pass rusher. I think he would be a great fit to help us in against the run because we're not very good against the run, and I think he'd be a great fit to bring in to play alongside Brian
That would be a
Burns.
home run,
I think it
and
would be.
apparently he wants the long-term deal, which is why I guess he's still hanging out there. I
Right.
would think if he goes back to Cleveland, it's probably once again for a small deal, but that's
Right.
probably what Cleveland's doing. They're probably playing hardball and like you can
Yeah.
get a long-term deal elsewhere. Go ahead, but
Yeah. It's probably gonna be his last contract. I think he's 29.
yeah, and
So it's
I
gonna
don't
be his
blame
last
him.
big
I
one.
don't blame him at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
gonna be his last big contract, which is good because if you can bring him in, you can play the funny money with the salary cap,
yeah,
backload the contract, right,
sure,
and you can make it work. So
yeah.
I think the long term deal is more advantageous for the Carolina Panthers than a short term 1 year $15 million contract.
A signing like that just it just does so much wonders for your defensive line because now all of a sudden you're moving everybody back a peg, and it just deepens your defensive line, especially on the edge, and that would just
Yep.
be a home run, no question. So
Yep.
we'll
So
see if
those
they
are the
can pull
three
that
guys I
off.
would take a look at. Those are three guys, especially on the defensive side. I think offensive wise, I think we're set, man. If everybody stays healthy, outside of the question mark at quarterback, I think everything else is in position for a quarterback to succeed.
Yeah, it's just that little quarterback position.
Just the
That's all.
quarterback, I know, yeah, just that. But everything else is in play. I think we
Hey,
got a
that you
good
got to
offensive
start
line.
somewhere.
Exactly. I think all the pieces are in place.
That's good.
Bradley Bozeman at center, Austin Corbett,
Those
um,
were nice deals.
Taylor,
Yes.
exactly. So I think the it's everything is in place. We brought in Deontay Foreman, it was a hammer at the running back position. So I feel like everything is in place for a quarterback to succeed. We just don't know who that guy is.
By the way, do you now truly believe, and we'll talk about this, I'll bring this up again, but do you now truly believe that they're going to cut snaps from McCaffrey and let maybe Foreman, and by the way, who do you end up, this could be for fantasy fans out there, who do you think ends up with the second most snaps in the backfield?
Second most snaps probably going to be Chuba. I think Chuba's still going to get that rotational. I think Foreman is going to be a guy that is going to be that hammer. You need 3rd and 1, 4th and goal, 3rd and goal, stuff like that to get that 1 yard. I think he's going to be the hammer.
Okay.
I don't envision him getting a lot or a ton of a run, but I do think he will have his moments. I think now we're in a situation where you're going to truly see a running back by committee.
That's
And
good.
I think that Christian McCaffrey's snaps are going to go down from a running back perspective, but they may go up. You may see him move the slot. You may see that happen. I don't not full time, but
Sure.
you may see him take more reps there.
All right. Well, great job, Rashad. Thank
Yep.
you very much for helping me to put down all this info in my head because I have to do the draft review guide on the Carolina Panthers. I don't have to write it. I think my deadline's next month. You're the first interview, so I'm going to get all my notes down just like I did for the draft. So so you got to keep in mind when you check out the Panthers in here. A lot of the information I had in there came from you, man.
Hey man, hey,
So,
listen, I'm a good source of information. I always keep it I always keep it a buck with Panther Nation. I never lie to them. I never want to mislead them and say a player is going to be, Matt Corral is going to be the next franchise guy because we just don't know that.
sure.
So I always try to keep it real with the fans and try to keep the expectations realistic. So everything I say is from a realistic perspective, man. I'm not one of those guys that shoot for the moon and praise that it happens. No, I take it for what it is and kind of analyze from there.
Well, I'm glad that your attitude has risen a lot better than the last time we spoke.
Yeah,
So.
it's funny, man. It's funny because I do a lot of these, right? I go to other channels and everybody said that. I've gone on ESPN upstate and they said the same thing. They'll say, dude, you have a much better attitude after the job. I'm like, yes, man, they're giving me something to be excited about. So again, I think we're in a good position. It just boils down to coaching at this point.
All right.
Can we coach it?
Well, and that's, by the way, that's what kicked off our show. Just want to remind everybody. So that's the big question. Matt Rule, do you believe in Matt Rule? Yes or no? You can comment on it, elaborate on it, subscribe to our channel. You do that, and then I'll reach out to you about getting you a edition, 2022 draft edition of the Our Lads Draft Guide. And you might say, well, why would I want the draft guide? The draft is already over. This is the best time. to have the draft guide because you know where all the players are, including, of course, your Carolina Panthers, and you can dive into the bios of each and every one of the players that the Carolina Panthers not only signed but drafted, but also signed. Because you mentioned the kid from Kentucky, McCall.
Yep.
I'm not sure he's in here, but Rambo is. Rambo's in here, so and then obviously everybody else that the team drafted. So Rashad,
Yeah.
appreciate it.
I was just gonna say with that guide, man, I'm gonna have the guy next to me at a training camp, and then we can go through it and say, hey, like, listen, this was right. This guy's struggling here. He's best here, and we can kind of make that comparison live at training camp. I think it's a great.
When are you going to be there? Do you know yet?
I don't know when the dates are. Usually it's the last week of July. But I'll be out there. I'll be out there 1,000%.
All right. Well, I'll definitely be in contact with you. I'll write that as a note to make sure I contact you. If for some reason I haven't contacted you before then, get to me. So I'd love to talk to you while you're at camp.
Let's do it.
That'd be perfect. This way the background could be something outdoors and, Panther-esque.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
let's do it.
That's gonna be cool. So, but for Panther fans, they need to go to now. Is it just Panther Nation? That's all they have to type in on YouTube.
Yeah, just type in Panther Nation podcast. You'll see us. We are the largest Panther presence on YouTube. So we're growing. Just under 17,000 subscribers. So we're growing, man. So if you're new, you just seeing us on. Check us out, man. Check us out, Panther Nation podcast. You'll see us. Hit the subscribe button for us. A lot of good coverage. Again, we're going to be covering training camp. I live stream from training camp.
That's awesome.
Literally right there on the field. Well, not on the field, but right there from with a nice view. I live stream. I'll give my live reactions.
I'm gonna have to come out and see you. I live in Carolina, right?
Yeah. I saw that your
all
number.
I was the way out west, though. It's a long drive.
Yeah. So again, there is no better coverage from the Carolina Panthers than Panther Nation podcast. And shout out to my co-host David Rhodes. It's my guy. We've been doing this for about 4 years now. So again, man, we appreciate the opportunity to come out here and represent for Panther Nation.
You got it, Rashad. Can't wait to talk to you again at camp. And great job as always. And by the way, just so everybody on our channel knows, all you have to do is scroll down to the bottom of our page where we have the channels that we follow, and you'll see Panther Nation podcast. So that makes it easy to find you guys if you want to do it that way. So Rashad, I appreciate it as always and look forward to talking to you during camp.
Sounds good, man. Thank you for the time.
You got it, man. Take care.
All right.